Today is July 20th and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I need to make a correction because I made the, I did a typo on the one that I did this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning that I called try not that hard. Try not that hard. And it was about amore. And I made a typo. That should say day 12. I said in the intro of that one, day 12, but I did a typo and I can't fix that. So that's point one that I took a lesson from, right? And then just to say that this is the July 20th, and I'm in the 13th day of my fast right now. And there's another point too, because I learned something there too. I actually learned something that I want to document. But about the first one, that brought me, since I can't change that, like I can't, like I'd have to delete the whole thing. Like I can't just go and edit, and say, fix my typo. I can't do that. And there's other times in life when you can't fix something. And I like to fix things. I've spent my entire life either building or fixing and helping. When I was a counselor, I was kind of like trying to help other people fix. It's still kind of fixing. Like when I was a chaplain, I was helping people fix their own problems. But I like to fix my own problems too. And for my job, most of my life, I fixed stuff. I went places and fixed all kinds of stuff. Everything from robots to printers to scanners to optical machines to kiosks, all kinds of environments, whatever needed to be fixed. It just so happens that I spent a lot of time fixing pharmacy robots and scanners, a lot of scanners and printers and computer stuff and TVs even. But I grew up fixing stuff. When I was a kid, I fixed my own mini bike, Harley Davidson 90. I took that motor all apart, cleaned the head and the piston wall for the piston, put new rings in it, all that. And I started off fixing my own bicycle. And then I studied a lot to learn how to fix stuff. And I know how to read manuals. I know how to look at flow charts for both disassembly and reassembly and removing parts and all that stuff, And there's a lot of, you got to pay attention to detail. All right? You got to keep your screws in order. Like literally, different size screws go to different places and you can't get them mixed up, and you got to know how to put it in. It's hard to remember, and you got to be able to, either write notes like I would do sometimes, what these screws went here, that kind of stuff, Anyway, it's a lot. Okay, I'm just saying, I don't know how I got off on all that fixing stuff, but yeah, well, anyway. Oh yeah, I can't fix the title on YouTube. The typo. I can't do nothing about that. And I like to fix things. I like to fix things in my own life. And I can't fix it. So, what that calls for is prayer of serenity. God help me. God give me most people know it like this: God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Give me the serenity to, and the courage, I think it says, to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, to change the things that I can change, or the serenity to accept things I cannot change, and the power or whatever to change the things that I can change, and wisdom to know the difference. That's the prayer of serenity, but it's actually longer than that. And Reinhold Niebuhr is the one who wrote that prayer, and he said something else too, and I'm going to play it right now. Okay, here's a listener.
And some say beyond.
Man's inclination to justice makes democracy possible. Man's inclination to injustice makes democracy necessary. Reinhold Niebuhr.
So you see how he put that? He said, our inclination to injustice makes democracy necessary. He said it much better than I can say it. I'm just saying I like what he said. I might have misquoted him. But I had to study Reinhold Niebuhr when I was in seminary a little bit. And he's I think he's somewhat of a liberal. He's considered a liberal, like a neo-orthodox kind of. His father was a Lutheran minister, and so he was kind of evangelical, but as most people that increase in their education, they understand, they take a lot of things that other people might take literally as mythology, and it doesn't mean that it's not true. It means that it's not literal. You always got to differentiate between what the true meaning is in something, and meaning is truth. But whether or not, say for example, Jonah really spent 3 days inside of a fish, all right, before God made the fish spit him out because he didn't do what God said. Whether or not that's like a literal thing or if that's a myth, it really doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't really matter if Jonah was really inside the belly of a whale, literally speaking. See, the truth in the story is what's important. The meaning of the story. And that comes from whether or not you want to look at it as like a myth that is not representative, like a literal kind of thing, or not. All right. And so where I stand is, I hear a lot of people, other countries, other religions and stuff even talk about, people that have received such an elevated state that it's not like they float up into heaven, like they have heaven in some place, but they disappear. Right? Jesus ascending into heaven and stuff like that is not really a first. There's a lot of stories. I'm not saying a lot, like all kinds, but there's stories scattered around, same thing, right? But anyway, see, I don't get caught up in whether or not things literally happen or not. It's not really my concern. It's not really my concern whether or not Jesus, disappeared, was raised from the dead and then disappeared. It's not really it's not really it's not really what I concern myself with. It doesn't have any effect on my relationship with God or my relationship with myself. My faith is not dependent upon a belief that I'm not interested in. It doesn't matter to me. Some people believe that you have to believe a certain way in order to go to heaven. I don't take that position. I don't believe you have to believe a certain thing in order to go to heaven. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in Jesus and everything Jesus stood for. Anyway, so the prayer of serenity, you know, the Niebuhr was he was somewhat of a liberal, but he was a strong advocate of social change and improvement, and did a lot of work in what you would call like kind of like redemption of man, betterment of man, understanding what sin is. Like for him, sin was primarily hush dog. Sin was primarily self-love. Anyway, and humankind demonstrates inclination toward selfishness and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's point one. All right, that's one lesson. I had to adopt the prayer of serenity when I realized, dog, look, hey, he's getting over there again. Hey, that's what all that barking was. Sally getting up on the bed, and having a fight with Goldie. Yeah, they're funny, but because they're so much like people. And I watch my dogs, and as in the macrocosm, as it is also in the microcosm. And for me, my dogs are kind of like microcosm, and other things that are like what you might not consider as primordial as dogs. Other things in my life, they still have the same stuff that I see. Look, I listen to the geopolitical economic report, and I look at like what's going on in the big picture, like for example, like really, if you look at the United States from an objective point of view, and the rankings, we don't really rank that high in democracy compared to other countries. I mean, we put on a big promotion, kind of, that we're a democratic nation, but really we're ran by rich people. I mean, it's really the rich people that actually rule everything. And they call that an oligarchy, and we're actually really an oligarchy because it's just it's kind of disclosed, But for example, Elon Musk was complaining recently that if it wasn't for him, Trump wouldn't even be in office right now, because he donated to the Trump campaign like phenomenal amount of money. I can't remember if it was like $2 billion or something, There's a phenomenal amount of money. And that's why he's in one of the offices that he's in right now. I can remember what office he's in. Trump hired him for something. But anyway, Elon Musk from Tesla. Anyway. So anyway, I'm just saying that, you know, I was looking at the prayer Serenity and then thinking Reinhold Niebuhr was the one who wrote that. And then, you know, I played the other thing, you know, that he also said, you know, about, democracy. And then, okay, now comes to the other point. This is 13th day in my fast. And now I come to actually a good understanding. I was talking a little bit before about there's two ways that you can change your life, you know. One is by you can change your belief and your attitude about something, and then actions will follow. Or you can change your actions, and then your feelings will follow. And the behaviorists in the one of the branches in psychology, their methodology is to change the behavior first, and then the feelings will follow. Okay, and this actually worked for me. Changing my behavior and my feelings are following. Okay, so I'm fasting, and I've changed my behavior. Okay, and through the result of fasting now, these 13 days, and now my feelings have changed, and I've been having this emerging feeling toward food that I really didn't have before. Food has now become more precious to me than ever before because I haven't eaten for 13 days. But so what I've been given thought about, like, okay, when I do start eating again, like, I want to be more picky from now on about what I eat. I don't want to have to ever go through this again, fasting like this. To lose this little belly fat that I have. But the process of disciplining myself has produced some inner changes in me. But before I go into all them inner changes, I just want to show you though what I have done. Okay, like in my garden, I have peppers, and of course I can't put the peppers in anything that I'm making right now to eat because I'm not eating anything. And I bought a dehydrator, and so I've had a surplus of peppers. But what I've been doing now is, see, I've been dehydrating them, and that is a bunch of dehydrated peppers in there. Okay? All right, and now I'm about to get more peppers because my bush is full of red peppers. I'm letting them get bigger and bigger. Okay, and now look. Okay, here's another one. Now I just made these. This was all full of strawberries. This thing right here, one of these ones right here, like this. Okay, all full of strawberries. This is all the strawberries that were inside of here, dehydrated. Okay, I pull them out, but I ain't gonna go through all that. They're all, well, actually, they're so pretty. I should anyway pull one out. But, hey. Yeah, I cut them up, you know. And these are like really, really crisp. They're fully dehydrated. Look, when you drop them in here, I don't know if you can hear it. Okay. Anyway, they'll keep. They're like potato chips, except not potato chips really, but you know. Okay. And that's strawberries. All right. These right here, these are when I cut up the bananas. Okay. These I diced it like that. Okay. Like these are. You know, I sliced up the banana, and this is a banana peel on the outside of the banana. I just separated it like that, and I got a bunch of them like that in here. Okay, that's the peels. But on this one here, on these ones, that's pickles. On these ones, okay, these are all bananas, except these ones, I see it's darker, okay? That's the banana, the dark part is actually the banana peel. All right, so I didn't take the banana peels off these ones. I left the banana peel on because they're so crunchy that you can eat them both together, banana peel and banana. And my dogs like the dehydrated fruit, okay? Because I give them, in fact, I gave him a little bowl of peels. I gave Mr. T a little bowl of banana peels, and he ate them after dehydrated. Like, he would never eat a raw, undehydrated banana peel, but he'll eat it if it's dehydrated, like it's crunchy, and he likes it. So, and now this is guava, okay? I bought this container of guava. They're little, they look like they do in the picture, okay? And that's what these look like. Okay? Yeah, take one out. And these are dehydrated. Okay? That's what it looks like. Dehydrated. Alright, and of course, I can't wait to eat some of this stuff. So, but I'm preparing. And this one right here is this is a mixture of guava and it's that fruit that's I can't remember the name of it now. It has a brown skin on it, but it's a very thin brown skin. Well, you might be able to tell what it is even because it's dehydrated, okay? Like, look, these are different. Okay. This is the one I just showed you, the guava, and this one is, these are different fruit, but I can't remember what the name of this is called. It's good fruit. Kiwi, that's what it is. Okay, kiwi. And then last but not least, pickles. Look, let's see. Oh, these are all banana skins too. I don't know if I didn't show you that. That's all actually banana peels. Now this right here, look, okay, these, like this right here, that's a pickle. That's like the kind of pickles you put on a hamburger. I bought them chopped up already, but then I also bought some that weren't chopped up, dill pickles stuff, and I cut them up long way, and that's what these are. Okay? That's actually a dehydrated. I sliced it a long pickle, like maybe, I don't know, 3 inches long pickles, and I sliced them up into like 3s long way, something like that. And that's dehydrated. Those pickles, they look. Okay. Look, this was a whole jar of sliced up pickles, like you put on hamburgers. It filled the jar up about like up to here, and then I put all the pickles inside with this, and I'm gonna keep putting pickles that I dehydrate. Because see what I'm doing now is I'll drink the juice from the pickle. I'll drink the pickle juice, and then I'll dehydrate the pickles. And when I'm done with my fast, then I'm gonna actually eat the pickles. I can't wait, but I'm not gonna quit my fast until I lose the belly fat that I want to lose. I already made up my mind about it, you know. Yeah. And but the process of self-discipline has caused a change in my feeling about food, and my feeling, you know, about, I don't know, other things, I guess. I mean, but, you know, primarily, I mean, I know I've changed an attitude about food. And I'm going to be more selective about what I eat, and actually, you know, try to eat healthy stuff. Well, well, yeah, it's empowering. I mean, fasting is, I don't feel like I'm really empowered, but like, not right now, but I mean, I am. I mean, I've already proved myself that I'm already in my 13th day. And I proved to myself that I still have enough determination to not give in to my appetite. Willpower, self-will, self-determination. Self-determination is a big thing. But okay, so I show you what I did and how I'm using my discipline, and I'm saying that it has changed my feeling and my attitude. I've changed my behavior, and it has produced an effect in me, and changing my attitude and changing my feeling. Okay, so there's one thing I wanted to document. The other thing is the thing I can't fix, like in my journal on YouTube. I can't fix that. So I started thinking about the prayer of serenity. God grant me the it said grant me the serenity, but the way Niebuhr actually wrote it was, God grant me the grace to accept with serenity the things that I cannot change, and to change the things that I can change, and the wisdom and no difference. But he says, God give me the grace to accept with serenity the things that I cannot change. Right? So it's the grace, and so I just, me and Adrian, Amber's mom, maybe your mother's mom, agreed that I could pick out Amber's middle name, okay, and we agreed on the name that I picked out, okay, which was Therese, and I did that because Therese is the Greek word for grace. It's just in the Greek. And I was reading in the Vine's Bible dictionary, and there's an article about that big in there about the Greek word either charis, like that, I think is the real pronunciation, or charis or charis. Okay, but for English, we say charis, and but that means that grace. It means grace, and grace means, by definition, in the Vine's dictionary, that it's an empowerment. It's the ability that God gives human beings to be good and to do, courageous things, and to do good things, and to be good people, like that, and not be a sinful people, like that. So anyway, I just bring that up because it has to do with grace. And Reinhold Niebuhr, he actually said, God grant me the grace to accept with serenity the things that I cannot change, and also give me the grace to be empowered to change the things that I can change, and give me the wisdom, which is also another mechanism of grace, to know the difference. Okay, so I learned those two lessons. The one about accepting things I can't change, but having the ability to change things I can change. I'm changing myself. Not only changing my belly, but I'm also changing my heart. and I'm changing my mind. Okay? Changing my mind, changing my heart, and I'm changing my body. And then, in conjunction with that, by self-discipline, by changing my behavior, I'm changing my feelings. And that's just a psychological dynamic that is capitalized upon by the behavioristic group of people in psychology. Whereas, the people in psychology might concentrate more on, discovering what makes you feel a certain way, and then trying to change the feeling, and then, you can change the behavior, or change, the malady, whatever is troubling you, like that. Dysfunction, whatever. People act out all kind of, have one problem in one area and then they act out in another way. It's just like in the body, okay? Before I knew that I actually had bad vertebrae in my neck, I used to go to the doctor because my arm kept falling asleep all the time. Like, I'd be working and my arm would just go completely fall asleep. And they told me that it was called neuropathy, and that it was from being overworked. Well, it wasn't from being overworked. And I told them it's not from being overworked. I don't know why you're telling me this. But so after 5 years, then they gave me they x-rayed my neck, and they say, yeah, okay, the reason your arm is falling asleep and everything all the time is because of your neck. So the problem is in your neck, but the manifestation of the problem, the symptom, is all the way in your arm. Because it has to do with the nerves. Right? And it's the same way in other aspects of life. You have a problem in one area, but it manifests itself in another area. See? And that's why, psychiatrists and stuff, they help you resolve problems, because they understand that a problem in one area doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually where the problem is starting at. But Christians, the way that Christianity helps us is that the root problem is what we call like original sin. We have fallen nature. And Jesus redeems us and gives us new life to live, to die to the old and be born again to the new. To a transformation, see, dying to the old and living to the new, like that. So, well, that's it now. So, those two things. All right.